All right, welcome everyone to another Saturday, or Sunday I should say. Geez, the week's just flying by. Another Sunday. Thank you so much for your patience, for waiting for me to get on here. I know we're starting just a little bit later, but I was trying to get up that video before we actually started into the chat today, and we actually got the oregano video up. So I put that up there. It's up there for you to enjoy if you want to watch that either after, or you can watch it now. Totally up to you, but I thought it was a very interesting video. And again, thank you so much for your patience, guys. I really appreciate it. Like I said, always working hard to get that video up before the live chat. That way I can spend as much time as I want on these live chats. I don't have to worry about going back, making sure all the editing and stuff like that is done. But thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. So today we got an important topic. We got foods to promote gut health. And again, gut health, we're seeing more and more studies just how important gut health is for a number of different reasons. We're starting to see even studies and information emerging showing that, the gut and its gut health promoting abilities, foods that are able to do that, the reason why we want to be able to promote gut health is because we're now seeing that the gut is almost like a second brain. It has a lot of connection to our overall health, to promoting disease, to promoting promoting and reducing the risk of reducing disease and chronic diseases and all of those things that we just don't want. Certain infections, and it makes sense. It's going to increase nutrient uptake. It's going to do a lot of healthy things for us. All right. So I thought it'd be an important topic to discuss today, and it's one that I've done quite a bit of research into. So I'm really excited to be able to share that with you guys. And again, let me know where everyone is from. If you guys can hear me, you guys were doing an awesome job last time. Thank you so much for the thumbs up too, by the way. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button, guys. Really appreciate it. But let me know where you're from. It was great seeing and reading where everyone was from in chat last time, and even in the comment section. So if you're listening to this later, thank you so much, guys. It would be greatly appreciated if you let me know where you're listening from, because we were getting listeners from UK, Dallas, South Africa, Nigeria, I believe, Zimbabwe, Asia, Dubai, everywhere around the world. So I just love hearing that. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you for listening today. So again, we're going to be talking about gut health. And remember, the importance to gut health, the reason why we're talking about that is, one, it's obviously connected to digestive health, another important property for maintaining and sort of an essential for maintaining overall health. But again, it's going to reduce the risk of certain chronic diseases. It's going to increase nutrient uptake, right? And the foods that we're going to talk about today are going to be increasing, right, that good bacteria in the gut and allow it to thrive. So we're going to talk about some of the best ones, and I'm really excited to share them with you guys. Again, thank you so much for smashing the like button right now. You guys are awesome. All right, so first of all, our gut microbiome, all right, we're going to want that. These are the things that we're referring to now, all right? And specifically when we refer to that, we're talking about microorganisms that live within the intestines, live within the digestive tract. So when we say gut health, all right, it's not just our stomach or anything like that. A lot of people think just about stomach, but this is promoting the health of healthy bacteria throughout the whole entire digestive tract. So very important. Manchester, UK, thank you so much, Kaz. Love reading that. Hello to the UK. Thank you so much. So, it can be very complex, but we're going to simplify it just a little bit today. All right, and again, we want that good bacteria throughout the digestive tract. All right, we've seen numerous studies, all right, that show a correlation between good bacteria in the gut. All right, and when it's enhanced by the foods that we eat, a little bit of lifestyle, but we can specifically target with foods that we eat. That's why I wanted to discuss the foods portion today. We're not going to get too much into lifestyle like we have in some of our other chats, but we've seen numerous studies. When good bacteria in the gut throughout the digestive tract is enhanced, all right, it can improve the immune system. It can improve the immune system functioning. It can help to reduce obesity. Why? Because we're absorbing more nutrients. We're absorbing micronutrients. Sometimes when we're low in micronutrients, our body can almost be confused, almost like we're dehydrated, and it's craving those micronutrients. So there's correlation between improving and combating symptoms of obesity as well, which is great. All right, so improving immune system function, improving digestive function, reducing the risk of chronic disease, even helping combat obesity, reduce the risk of obesity. Liverpool, UK, Gaz. Wow, geez, we got Kaz and Gaz, both from the UK. Welcome, guys, welcome. Thank you so much again for letting me know. So Liverpool and Manchester. Very nice. Thank you, guys. So that is why it's so important. All right. It is so important because when we enhance it, there's just so many other benefits. All right. Those are some of them. We're not even talking about the digestive benefits right now. Helping to reduce constipation, the breakdown of food. All right. The food being able to move throughout the digestive tract. All right. So improving regularity, reducing constipation, all of these things that are really, really important. All right. So let's think of maybe, we're starting to get into gut health. It's not really something that we've thought about before. Hello, Robin. Welcome to the chat. Great to have you again. And welcome to everyone else. So what are some signs that maybe we might have unhealthy gut or unhealthy gut bacteria, unhealthy gut health? All right. And there's numerous reasons why, we might have unhealthy gut bacteria or an unhealthy gut. There's many reasons why. It's multifaceted. It's not just our diet. Again, this is why we get into some lifestyle stuff. But it can be anything from high levels of stress. One of the most common ones is, if you're on antibiotics. But, if we're not on antibiotics, high stress, maybe we're eating high sugar foods. We'll get into that a little bit more. All right. Eating processed foods. This is why we want to eat as many healthy foods, and this is why we're going to talk about some of the healthy foods that we want to introduce into our diet. If we're eating a diet that's high in processed foods, high in sugar, we're only doing damage to our gut bacteria, to the good, healthy gut bacteria that we want to thrive. All right? And again, it's not just going to affect our gut bacteria, but because we're specifically talking about that today, we should identify that if we have unhealthy gut bacteria, it can lead to other issues, other health issues which we don't want. It could lead to a reduction in immune system functioning, like we said. It can affect our skin. That's one of the big ones, all right? Our skin is greatly affected by our gut health. Geez, I'm missing on a lot of comments here. Let me catch up a little bit. Oh, yes, thank you. Great to hear, guys. Sorry, Robin, we can definitely get into that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the gut health foods, but I can certainly help and give you some ideas just reducing weight in lockdown. I think the most important one is being in a calorie deficit. All right, you have to be in a calorie deficit, whether that's by eating less, all right, more nutrient-dense foods, lower calorie foods. So you have to be in a calorie deficit and maybe getting a little bit more exercise. That can be within your house. It can be out for walks if you're allowed to do that. So an easy answer to that is to be in a calorie deficit, either through eating less, all right, or by getting more movement, burning calories. Hey, Tammy, great to see you there. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so those are some of the signs that we might not have the gut health that we're looking for. Maybe we want to start to increase some of these healthy gut alternative foods. All right, if we're noticing differences in our skin, in our weight, and don't forget, if we have unhealthy gut bacteria, it could lead to issues with the immune system, even with heart. Okay, with heart and even cognitive function. So this is why I thought it's a very important discussion to have today. All right, it can lead to so many other health, unhealthy health factors that we don't want. And if we can add these foods, of course, all right, we can reverse that. All right, or at least try to reverse that. Okay. Other ones, all right, other symptoms that you're going to find are maybe having an upset stomach. All right, so a lot of people who have unhealthy gut bacteria within the gut, you're going to find that maybe you're dealing more with bloating, with constipation. Diarrhea can be another one. All right, so those are all the things that, that's why it's so important. I had mentioned earlier, digestive health, all right? Upset stomach, all of these digestive related issues, okay? Constipation, gas, bloating, all of that type of stuff, all right? Fatigue is another big one, guys. So if gut health is low, all right, then you're most likely going to be experiencing symptoms of fatigue, all right, which we want to be able to combat. We don't want to be dealing with fatigue or with skin issues, any potential things like that, all right, with sort of unhealthy digestive issues, like we mentioned, constipation, things like that, all right? But a big one, all right, is constant fatigue, almost a chronic fatigue, and even issues with sleeping they found with studies. So that can be a big factor, and a lot of people that I've done consultations with are always tired. They always tell me, I'm always tired. I never feel like I have energy. If they're ranking it out of 10, they feel like they're at an energy level of like a 3 or a 2, just constantly, no matter what they do. So then we take a look at the diet, and you don't see a lot of gut healthy foods, a lot of fiber, a lot of probiotics, prebiotics, all the stuff that we're going to be getting into today, guys. So constant fatigue, a lot of it, the first two things I'm going to look at, all right, obviously you want to get enough sleep. That's a big one, of course. But if they're getting 7-8 hours and they're still feeling constant fatigue, all right, maybe hydration is next. But another important one is making sure that they're getting gut healthy foods that are going to promote good bacteria in the gut to thrive. Hey, Mac, good to see you in here, as always. Wednesdays and Sundays. Mac, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Please give it a thumbs up, everyone. Thank you, Mac. I appreciate that comment. Thank you very much. So those are some of the signs, guys. Also, autoimmune conditions, skin irritation, things like that. The weight changes I wouldn't worry about too much. You're not going to see as much with weight changes. I would be worried more about skin irritation, skin conditions, constant fatigue, and unhealthy digestion. Those are probably going to be your biggest ones, guys. All right. So if we're not letting good bacteria in the gut to thrive, obviously we're going to be having digestive related issues. So make sure we keep that in mind. Now, let's talk a little bit about foods that are going to help to improve gut health. Okay? Because again, remember, when it comes to gut health, guys, we have to remember this, and this is why I want to bring this up today. The reason why we want to increase gut health is not only for digestion, right? But we're now seeing that it's vital, all right, to have this good, healthy bacteria in the gut. So remember, through the gut is the entire digestive tract, because not only is it going to have physical benefits and immunity benefits, but it could even have mental health benefits as well. Okay, now, again, you're going to want to speak with your medical practitioner about all of these things, but we're seeing studies where it's having all of these great benefits for us if we're eating probiotics, all right, foods high in prebiotics and certain fibers, which we'll get into here. We're going to get into them in a minute here, all right? But all of these foods are having a tremendous overall benefit, not just with digestion and everything like that. We've talked about the physical, but also with our immune system. All right. Again, a lot of autoimmune issues if we're not having that good, healthy gut bacteria, but also mental health and things of that nature. Again, speak with your medical practitioner, but we already know through the studies that this is definitely an issue. All right. So let's get into some of the foods. All right. The biggest ones, guys, are going to be your probiotics, all right, and your prebiotics. So we'll go through each one and let's talk about what some of the sort of highest foods that are sort of related in probiotics. With probiotics, all right, I always talk a little bit about fermented foods. All right, so if you're trying to increase, all right, the good gut bacteria, probiotics are probably going to be vital and essential for you having good, healthy gut bacteria. All right, and then seeing the health benefits of having good gut bacteria. We already talked about it. It's physical, mental health, and then also through our immunity. So let's go through some of these foods, guys. All right. Some of the most, like the probiotics, I would say, fermented foods and things of that nature, they're going to be some of your most important ones. All right. And it's not hard to get the probiotics. A lot of people, will sort of stress out a little bit about how to increase probiotics. All right. But remember, to boost beneficial bacteria within the gut, all right, we need to make sure that we're eating these foods, guys. We just have to have these foods in our diet, or the easiest thing that we can do is take a probiotic supplement, and that's fine too. Remember, I was talking a little bit about supplements that you might want to take. The easiest ones, and maybe the easiest ones to find. Now, probiotic supplements, usually, at least good ones, they're usually not the cheapest. All right, so that's why I want to go over the foods, but I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that we can take, all right, and it is an option for us to take probiotics, all right, a probiotic supplement. So let's keep that in mind, guys. All right, a good probiotic supplement can definitely help to promote gut health. All right, so a probiotic supplement is a great one. All right, now let's talk a little bit about our fermented foods. So we want to increase probiotics. Fermented foods are a great way of doing that. Now, what are some foods that we can sort of consume regularly, all right, and it's easy to add to our diet? So these are going to be your natural sources of probiotics. We're not taking a supplement, because remember, supplements can be a little bit hard on the diet at times. So I think the easiest one, all right, can just be plain, all right, plain yogurt that's not high in sugars, so you don't have to go super low fat, all right? But we're going to want yogurt, all right, that's high in that friendly bacteria. So it'll say sort of like active bacteria cultures on it, all right, also known as probiotics. So those are a great one to add to the diet, guys. I think that's the easiest. You can add things to it, so maybe berries. I think that's an excellent choice. Right? You're going to get a little bit of fiber within those berries as well, especially blueberries. Remember, we've talked about this a little bit in our other live chats. All right, a lot of people forget within some of these berries, all right, super low calories, great micronutrients, great fiber. So blueberries are a good one. Raspberries are another good one. All right, we'll talk about bananas here in a second because I want to split them up just a little bit. So remember, these are our natural sources of probiotics. Okay, so yogurt. And again, you don't have to go super low fat. All right, I like plain. And you could also do Greek yogurt. You're going to get good protein, so you're also covering macronutrients. All right. So you could do sort of like a 2% plain yogurt. I think that's amazing. That's an amazing source. I think Greek yogurt is another amazing source, guys. Tammy, you're on to some there. We're getting there. That's awesome. If you guys want to throw some out there, by all means, throw them out there, guys. And thank you so much for the thumbs up. We've been literally just over 15 minutes, and we're at 15 thumbs up, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Remember, our goal is always 30. So we're halfway there, and we're just barely 15 minutes into this live stream. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you all. All right, so let's talk about some of the other ones. Now, Tammy, let's get the ones that Tammy mentioned. All right, Tammy mentioned sauerkraut and kombucha. All right, those are another great natural source, which you can add to your diet regularly. You don't have to eat all of these every day, though, guys. All right, keep that in mind. You don't have to eat all of these, maybe just one or two. All right, as long as you're keeping consistent with it, it's going to have a great benefit for our gut health. All right, and adding probiotic foods, natural sources. All right, so another one. All right, we got our sauerkraut, we got our kombucha. All right, remember, you can have kombucha tea, anything like that. Those are going to be great ones for you guys. All right. Angie, welcome. Awesome. Thank you. We'll definitely get into bean sprouts. We'll talk about a little bit of vegetables a little bit down the road here. But that's awesome. Keep throwing them out, guys. I appreciate it. And you guys just keep getting those thumbs up. Wow. Thank you so much. Now, another nice one that I'll throw in here, because remember, with today we can kind of have an umbrella because we're talking about probiotics and fermented foods. All right, we want to get as many natural sources of probiotics that we can. All right, at least some options, because remember, we already said you don't have to add all of these foods to your diet. All right, I even recommend it, but adding yogurt. All right, especially plain with live active bacteria cultures, that's great. Greek yogurt, same thing. All right, and with Greek yogurt, again, you don't have to go super low fat. You can have a little bit of fat in there, like a 2%, something along those lines. All right, you get great macronutrients in there as well. right, along with the probiotics. But I think another one, right, even some kefir or kimchi. All right, kefir or kimchi, guys, great fermented foods. All right, a little bit easier to find. Sauerkraut, kimchi, I think might be the easiest ones. All right, kombucha is another easy one. What a lot of people will do, kimchi, D-Will, you got it. I just saw you posted that there. Exactly, kimchi is a great one. All right, a lot of people make their own kombucha. You just got to be careful. If you're buying kombucha, a lot of times what they'll do, a lot of companies, there's extra preservatives in there, and a lot of times there's a ton of extra sugar in there. Like I'll have some clients say, well, I'm adding kombucha tea to my diet, right? Kombucha tea, I think I would recommend you drinking, kombucha cold, not boiling it. All right, there has been some studies to show that it can sort of limit the effects of the kombucha if you're adding boiling water to sort of kombucha tea bags or anything like that. There's been other studies that are showing it doesn't have that much of an effect, but I would sort of drink it at the most lukewarm, maybe room temperature. Right? Then at least we know we're getting the full benefits of the kombucha tea. But I know a lot of people who make it themselves, and I would prefer that over sort of buying like a kombucha tea that's pre-made. All right, you can have tea bags, but the ones that are bottled or canned or anything like that, because again, canned and bottled and all those sort of foods are gonna have the extra preservatives, and people are gonna be trying to sell it, so they're gonna sweeten it up with sugars, and it's generally not natural sugar or anything like that. It's gonna be your processed sugar, so sucralose. So just be on the lookout for that, guys, because sugar is actually one of the worst things that we can intake and eat when it comes to improving gut health. So keep that in mind. We want to make sure that we're keeping sugar to a minimum. All right, if we want to improve gut health, you can add all these foods that we're talking about today, but if your sugar intake is high, and same with high processed foods, you're not going to get the benefits of these foods, guys. So keep sugar to a minimum. So kombucha is another nice one. Kimchi, you guys got it. All right, so very nice. So that's a nice umbrella of fermented foods, even some vegetables, all right, of nice fermented foods, all right, with good probiotics, natural probiotics. And again, you're going to see tremendous improvement in overall gut health and a reduction of inflammation, gut inflammation with these foods as well. So that's going to help good bacteria in the gut to thrive, which of course is our topic today and something that we want to be focusing on. All right, now what are some other ones? All right, now we talked about probiotics. I had mentioned a little bit earlier, all right, kind of the big three will be your probiotics. That's the first one. We just talked about fermented foods, which are a natural source, or you can take a probiotic supplement. Excuse me as I drink a little bit of water here. But another one that we're going to want to make sure that we're intaking is prebiotics, foods that are high in prebiotic and prebiotic fiber if we can. Okay, so prebiotic rich foods, all right, again, great for overall gut health. Right? There's even been research, and that's just coming out now, that's showing that prebiotics can help probiotics to become more sort of tolerant to, higher pH levels in the gut, okay, to help improve, all right, overall gut health, to help probiotics, all right, work even better to helping good bacteria in the gut to thrive. So it's a nice combination of getting in probiotics, which we just talked about, all right, and then also prebiotics, all right, combining the two, all right, it's kind of like a 1-2 punch, all right. So let's talk about what some of the prebiotic foods are, guys. The first one that I probably want to speak on would be bananas. I think that's the easiest one to add to our diet. So I think bananas would probably be your best bet. Pineapple for its bromelain. Bromelain, very nice. Good digestive enzymes. Definitely going to help with digestion, D-Will, for sure. A lot of people think that bromelain is like its own compound, but it's actually sort of like an umbrella for digestive enzymes, right? But that's absolutely bromelain for sure, digestive enzymes, and especially for the breakdown of protein, guys. Keep that in mind as well. Bromelain, very helpful in the breakdown of protein. But bananas, all right, because the reason why I want to separate bananas here is great prebiotics, which a lot of people don't really recognize. They don't see carbohydrates all the time because that's what bananas are, guys. As a reminder, bananas are carbohydrates, all right? But they have what's called non-digestible, all right, carbohydrates, especially more green, unripe bananas. Keep that in mind because that's important. The riper it is, the more we're sort of losing out on the prebiotic fiber. Now, specifically, what's that prebiotic fiber that we're talking about? It's the resistant starch. And you're going to get the resistant starch from more unripe bananas. Again, you're going to get good fiber and a little bit of prebiotics from ripe bananas, but it's more pectin, all right? And again, that's a sort of a unique fiber in and of itself. So we're not saying that ripe bananas are bad, but if you want to add nice prebiotic fiber, all right, fiber that's going to sort of escape through the digestive process, you want the more unripe bananas. All right, and those are going to have resistant starch. And I think that's really important to separate. So kind of getting in the prebiotic fiber, bananas are a great one. All right, bananas are super important. All right, and it doesn't have to be, totally unripe. All right, it's just more unripe bananas. Maybe still have a little bit of green on there. All right, if they're so hard still that you almost have to boil them to eat them, all right, you don't have to go that far, guys. All right, just make sure it's a little bit green. All right. Just not totally yellow quite yet. And definitely if it has black spots on them, then, overripe bananas, right? Yes, bananas, especially unripe bananas. Sonia, great to see you in there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really, really appreciate it. So yeah, you can get a little bit of complex carbohydrates and resistant starch from more unripe bananas, Sonia. And that resistant starch is important because that's a nice prebiotic. And D. Will, thanks for getting those out there. We're going to get into garlic for sure. All right, but more unripe bananas, resistant starch, all right, a nice prebiotic for us. And remember, the prebiotics and probiotics, we've already gone over a bunch of probiotics, natural and supplementation, all right? That prebiotic, all right, with the probiotic is a nice 1-2 punch to promote overall gut health, to help good bacteria, good microorganisms in the gut, all right, and really throughout the whole digestive tract to thrive. Holla Donkey, very informative. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you're finding it very informative. And we're just getting started, so stay in if you're enjoying it. I really appreciate the comment. Thank you so much. I love getting feedback, guys. You guys know how much I love the engagement, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, so let's keep going over some of these foods, guys. Let's break it down just a little bit here. Another one that maybe you might want to add is miso. All right, so miso is also very nice. It's a fermented food, all right, usually from soybeans, all right. You can have other stuff in it as well. I think sometimes with like barley and things like that. But, when you get that miso in, it's going to help you increase good bacteria and also those good natural digestive enzymes, sort of like Devo was talking about with bromelain. All right, so great food there. I think miso is another one that we can maybe point out as sort of having a staple. All right, it can maybe be a staple for some people because a lot of people enjoy miso soup. I would keep it relatively, I'd keep it in moderation just like you would with any of the other foods though. Again, you don't need to overdo it, especially if you're trying to keep soy down. There's tons that we could go way off into left field on that whole topic. But, miso, a great way to add healthy, good bacteria. All right, probiotics. And also the enzymes, which is important for healthy digestion. Always very informative. Well, thank you very much, Tammy. I appreciate that. Again, thank you guys so much for the feedback. Always great to hear. I'm glad you guys are able to take something away from the live streams and the videos. So thank you so much for the compliments, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay, so miso is that other one. All right, now let's talk about some, because we've talked about maybe some of the ones that you guys have already heard. All right, maybe you've heard of yogurt being good as a probiotic, being good for good gut bacteria, kefir, miso, sauerkraut, kimchi. I think those are maybe the most common ones because those are a lot of the ones that I saw being mentioned in chat. All right, so That's why I wanted to point out bananas a little bit, all right, because it's a nice prebiotic. Let's finish off with the prebiotic foods. Another one, and I might get into these a little bit more specifically, like garlic, all right. I think it was D. Will who mentioned garlic. It was D. Will. All right, garlic is another good one, all right, and the reason why garlic is such a nice one, all right, again, you're getting nice prebiotics from garlic, okay. So again, you're getting that 1-2 punch. Not only are you adding probiotics, but prebiotic fiber as well. Kind of escape through that digestive process, but help good bacteria to thrive as well. So we have bananas. We have more unripe bananas. We'll keep that in mind, all right? So unripe bananas, I like to sort of make sure that I point that out. It's more unripe bananas. That's how you get the resistant starch. Again, that's not to say that ripe bananas are bad. They have their own fiber, pectin, but we want that resistant starch if we're talking about overall gut health and prebiotics. So more unripe bananas, garlic, and one other one that I'll give you, again, onions, but I want to get into that a little bit more later. Garlic and onions, you guys always know how I always say that you'll find them sort of in combination to a lot of different health benefits. So they're of the same family, garlic, onions. All right, but another important one for prebiotic fiber. So prebiotics, which, maybe you probably haven't heard of, all right, before. Bananas is usually a surprising one to people, but asparagus is actually a really nice source of prebiotic fiber. So if you're trying to increase your prebiotics and you enjoy asparagus, all right, again, it can be lightly cooked, it can be steamed, it does not matter. You're still going to get that prebiotic fiber in there. I would go with lightly steamed or even lightly grilled, very delicious. All right, and then what's even better, and what I tend to do is if I'm, say, baking it, you can even bake it, which I generally do. And again, it's not for too long, but I like to add a little bit of garlic in there as well. And again, you're not going to hurt the prebiotics, right, if you're not overdoing it through the cooking process. A lot of the times cooking these foods like garlic is going to help release some of the compounds. So I like to add the garlic in with the asparagus. Garlic and asparagus is a very nice combination. If you guys haven't tried that, and even onions, you can throw some onions in there as well. I think that's a great recipe, especially for gut health. So asparagus, garlic, and onions, that's an awesome recipe. So there's one for you guys. You can get a ton of prebiotic fiber in just through that little meal right there. But I think a surprising one is asparagus. All right, so asparagus, nice prebiotic fiber. I'll eat asparagus and I'll sort of I'll eat asparagus, and sometimes if I'm taking a supplementation of probiotics, which I don't always do, all right, I'll sort of eat the asparagus first and then take my probiotics second. You don't have to do that, but sometimes I will make that move and do that. Now let's get into some other ones here. All right, some ones that maybe you guys didn't think about as much. Again, we already talked about the bananas. Let's talk about why garlic is such an important one. Just because we brought up garlic, all right, we can even get into ginger as well. But garlic is a nice one. Again, it's not just a prebiotic, but it also has nice antibacterial and antifungal properties, and even antimicrobial properties. All right, now that's very important. All right, so not only are you getting the prebiotic benefits of garlic, but you're also getting these antibacterial, and antifungal properties, not antibiotic. Remember, antibiotics can actually hurt good bacteria in the gut. So antibacterial, antifungal properties, and they're going to help with reducing bad bacteria, all right, or at least help keep them under control, all right, reduce them, all right, which is very important, because if we can start to reduce them while increasing good bacteria, of course, good bacteria is going to start to thrive within the gut. So garlic is a very nice one, all right. It almost acts as a food source for good bacteria in the gut. All right, and again, which is just gonna, if you're doing that, you're improving overall gut function, which is also very important. All right, remember we talked about some of the physical benefits. All right, and if you're improving overall gut function, it's not only physical, but it can help with our immune system, and it can also help with mental health. All right, and again, you might want to speak with your medical practitioner more about that, but a lot of that is tied to helping with the absorption of micronutrients, all right, increasing nutrient uptake. All right, so that's why you get so many benefits of improving gut health and improving overall gut function. All right, and again, improving the health of the digestive tract, the whole digestive process here, guys. All right, now I think Dee will mention ginger as well. So let's talk about ginger, because I know ginger is very, very popular also. Now, does ginger have health benefits when it comes to gut health? Well, we know that ginger is very, very popular when it comes to reducing things like nausea, all right, an upset stomach, right? So, okay, Angie, that's good. I'll just give me 1 second. That's excellent. I'll just give me a second to think about that for a minute, as I talk a little bit about ginger. That's a good question. All right, and I think I might have the answer already. But for ginger, all right, again, we know that it's going to help with reducing nausea, and it's going to help with decreasing symptoms of having an upset stomach and things like that. What you're not really going to get is the prebiotic or the probiotics as much from ginger, especially when related to onions and garlic. All right. Does that mean it won't help improve gut health? Absolutely not. I think that it, in my opinion, again, and this, again, just from doing the research and everything like that, you're going to see an increase in stomach acid, and you're also going to see the stimulation of digestive enzymes. Okay, so the breakdown of food is going to be increased and also can help reduce bad bacteria in the gut. Okay. So those are some of the things that we want to make sure that we're remembering if we're going to be eating ginger. You know, how does ginger relate to the promotion of overall gut health? All right. So ginger can have some benefits. You're not going to get the probiotic or as much of the prebiotic benefits, but you are going to be increasing digestive enzymes, which is important for overall gut health. Okay. And if you're sort of adding it to like soups and things of that nature, where you're actually grating it and actually eating the ginger root, you know, you're going to get a little bit of fiber from that as well. So that fiber will act as good as sort of a fuel source, as a food source for good bacteria in the gut as well. All right. So keep that in mind. I think that's important to remember. So ginger can be one of the good ones. All right. So question, which one is the highest when it comes to the number? All right. So I'm assuming, Angie, that you're talking about the number of probiotics. If it's the number of probiotics, which has the highest amount, it's easily a probiotic supplement. But if we're talking about the breakdown of foods, okay, I think anything, all right, it'll sort of depend, because some yogurts will have more than others. All right, obviously kefir is going to, as how much you eat is going to be affected, the ways that it's sort of prepared. I think the supplementation will give you the highest amount by far. Okay, so that'll get you the furthest, all right, in adding good bacteria. Again, it doesn't just have to be probiotics, it can be good bacteria. Supplementation is probably the easiest way, and probably the easiest way that had the highest number of good bacteria. But I think a combination of all of these foods is important as well, because remember, yes, you're adding good bacteria into the gut, but if you're eating a combination of these, then you're getting a nice 1-2 punch with the prebiotics and the probiotics. So we don't always want to just rely on the highest number. The highest number is important. It's good to add good bacteria into the gut. But once that good bacteria is in there, what's going to help it to thrive? It's going to be your prebiotics. It's going to be your fiber, all of those different things. All right, it's going to be even ginger, all right, things that's going to soothe the digestive tract, all right. It's going to be things that are going to promote digestive enzymes. So keep that in mind as well. So the highest may be a supplementation, or it may be yogurt, all right. It may be there's some yogurts that are super high in active bacterial cultures. Even things like miso and kefir, they're going to be super. I always like yogurt. I think that's just the easiest one. And you can usually eat the most of it, especially, if it's a low-calorie, plain yogurt. Not a lot of sugar in there. Remember, stay away from sugar when it comes to gut health. But again, having a nice combination, all right, is not only going to be important, all right, in getting the probiotics and getting the good, healthy bacteria in there, but it's going to help the good bacteria to thrive once it's in there. So just because we're adding it in there, yes, that's important, but with all these other ones, it's increasing All right, the positives of getting the probiotics and good friendly gut bacteria in there as well. So great question, Angie. I appreciate that. Hopefully that gave you a little bit more insight into it. I would go with a combination, but if you're looking at just the highest, a supplementation is probably going to be first, all right, and then probably plain natural yogurt would be second. And again, that can change just based on the yogurt, and then also how much kefir you're eating, things of that nature. The fermented foods, well, that's going to range big time just depending on how much you eat. You really can't go wrong on any of the fermented foods. Kefir, miso, kombucha, things like that. All right, let's move on here. All right, so another one, I'm going to give you guys another one here that, maybe a lot of people haven't really given much thought to. All right, but if we're looking, all right, this is probably one that a lot of people haven't gave much thought to. All right, but another nice food, and probably one of the best foods. Sorry, I'm seeing all these comments come in. What ways can you eat ginger? I think with stews, there's like stews, soups, things like that. That's a nice one. A lot of people they'll sort of grate it into tea. All right, you don't want to add too much of it to tea. I think, it's going to be very almost like pulpy or grainy if you're drinking tea with a lot of ginger in it. But stews, soups, things like that, and it doesn't have to be much. Right? And yes, it can be just like the raw ginger in there. All right? But if you're having stews and things like that, you might be cooking a little bit as well. All right? I think either way, it doesn't really matter as long as you're getting the ginger in. All right? And you can also have it as a tea. That's another way that you can have it. Right? With how much, again, you don't need to overdo it. Literally, probably like a tablespoon, like a 1-inch piece of ginger root is more than enough, especially if you're eating all these foods. If we're talking about promoting gut health, you don't need to overdo it on the ginger. Like a 1-inch piece of ginger root is going to be a nice size for you to start promoting gut health, guys. All right, so very nice. So great question, Angie. Thank you. Papaya, I know some culture. Eat the seeds also. Yes. Ginger tea bags, exactly, Tammy. So you can have ginger tea. You can have the tea bags, or you can boil water with the ginger actually in there. Like you can cut a 1-inch piece, boil some water, throw the 1-inch piece in there, and then let that sort of simmer for 10 to 15 minutes. Geez, we really nailed something on with the ginger. You guys are giving me some good ones. Blend ginger in smoothies. That's a nice one. Again, there's so many ways to add the ginger. Smoothies, Rita, I think is a great one as well. It's very easy to add if you're just adding it into smoothies. Again, you don't need to add a lot. I would still stick to that 1-inch piece of ginger root. I think that's the best again, if you're eating it day in and day out, if you're eating it consistently, it doesn't have to be any more than that. A lot of times people get confused thinking that I'm recommending that you have to eat large amounts of certain types of foods like saffron and things like that. Turmeric, very small. Remember when we talked about turmeric last time? I said half a teaspoon if you're eating it every day, day in and day out. You do not have to have these in large amounts to get the health benefits of them, especially if you're eating them consistently. But yeah, ginger tea is a nice one. When it comes to ginger tea and things like that, remember this, guys, all right? You're going to get tons of the health benefits when it comes to ginger and promoting gut health, all right? It doesn't matter really if you're having it as a tea or if you're eating it raw, cooked, okay? Because you're still going to get the stimulation of those digestive enzymes, whether you're eating it raw. I haven't really heard too much raw. Maybe if you're adding it to like the soups or stews, all right, or cooked or as a tea. Where you are going to get a little bit more benefit through the ginger if it is raw or cooked, all right, as opposed to the tea, is you're getting a little bit more fiber. And again, that fiber is going to act as fuel, as food for healthy, good bacteria in the gut. So we'll make sure that and it's the same thing, even if you put it into a smoothie, again, you're going to still get that fiber. So that's why I like Rita, what you said too, with the smoothies. Just adding a piece of ginger into your smoothies, you're still going to get all of those digestive enzyme benefits and the fiber as well, because the fiber is going to act as food. All right, the fiber is going to act as food and help good bacteria in the gut to thrive. So I think that's just an important distinction that we should make as well. But nothing wrong with ginger tea. I used to drink a lot of ginger tea. Not as much anymore. More of a turmeric green tea guy right now. Maybe even like the occasional chai tea. But I used to drink quite a lot of ginger tea back in maybe probably a year ago. But that's great, guys. And thank you so much for the thumbs up. We are at 22. We are literally 8 away from the goal. Man, you guys are fast today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, let me give you guys some. And again, I'm going to give you another food here. And sort of my point is to give you a big range of foods that you can have. I know you guys probably, like I said, most likely know about the fermented foods. You might have heard about the yogurt. Okay, but the asparagus, the banana ones, all right, we're talking about fermented foods, we're talking about vegetables, we're talking about garlic, onions, things of that nature, and we're also talking about fruit. How amazing is that? Now let's talk about one other one here. Let's talk about a healthy fat, which people don't really think of in terms of gut health. Okay, another nice one. All right, remember guys, I love almonds. Almonds, I think, are one of the best nuts or seeds that you can add to your diet. If people ask me all the time, if you could add one nut or seed to your diet, what would it be? Almonds would probably be the one on my list. Now it will sort of depend. Walnuts are up there when it comes to omega-3s, so with heart health and things of that nature. But usually, all in all, I think almonds are king. And again, almonds are very underrated for their probiotic properties. All right, we have to remember this. All right, so they can help, all right, promote good bacteria in the gut. All right, tremendous probiotic properties. Now, why? All right, why would almonds be a good one? Okay, again, healthy fats. All right, doesn't make much sense at first, but what are the probiotic properties? Well, the first one, all right, is going to be the fiber. Almonds are one of the best nuts when it comes to overall fiber. Okay, and again, you can eat these in moderation, guys. You don't need to eat a ton of almonds, all right, when it comes to promoting good gut bacteria, all right, or good gut health in general. All right? If you're eating too much, it's probably doing the exact opposite, because if you're in a surplus of calories, guys, remember, obesity was one of the things that we want to stay away from if we're trying to promote good gut bacteria. So I would have like 8 to 10 almonds at most. That's generally what I do. All right. So almost a snack. All right. No more. A lot of people will even say like a handful of almonds. I think that's too much. All right. I think 8 to 10 is more than enough for you guys. All right. So what are those good probiotic properties? Very high in fiber. They're an amazing source of fiber, guys. Dietary fiber, both insoluble and soluble fiber. So you're going to get a nice fuel source for good gut bacteria, to thrive, all right, throughout the digestive tract. All right, because remember, we know that probiotics, prebiotics, and fiber are the things that we're looking for. Almonds are tremendously high in fiber. All right, healthy fats as well. All right. Full of fatty acids. Again, that's going to be important for digestion. But another nice thing for digestion when it comes to almonds, and remember, if we're wanting this, all right, if we're wanting, to promote good, healthy gut bacteria, this is an important part of it as well. We want to be decreasing inflammation throughout the digestive tract. If we're dealing with acute inflammation, or especially chronic inflammation, so acute in the short term, all right, it's still going to negatively affect your gut health. But if you're dealing with chronic inflammation throughout the gut, all right, decreasing nutrient absorption, all right, decreasing digestive health, all right, and reducing good bacteria throughout the gut, not allowing good bacteria to thrive in the gut, all right, or through the digestive tract. All right, remember, when we say gut, we're talking about throughout the digestive tract as well. All right, so almonds, very good in that sense. All right, now we want to get, how is it going to reduce inflammation? Well, again, for this one, you have to have the almonds with the skin on, because that's where the antioxidants are found. But most importantly for gut health, it's where the polyphenol antioxidants are found. And we've seen studies where there's a correlation with polyphenol antioxidants and the promotion of gut health. And again, that's going back to reducing inflammation. Remember, if you're dealing with chronic inflammation throughout the digestive system and the digestive tract, one, it's going to reduce the the function of the digestive system, and it's going to allow bad bacteria to thrive as opposed to good bacteria. It's going to reduce good bacteria, to be honest. All right, so make sure that you're eating almonds. Again, almonds aren't necessarily one of the foods that we think about when we're trying to promote gut health. But remember, they have those healthy probiotic properties, all right, and good bacteria promoting properties because they're loaded with fiber, all right, and they have polyphenol. They're loaded with polyphenol antioxidants, and even have a nice healthy fatty acid profile, which is nice for our digestion. So we're reducing inflammation, all right, and we're adding bulk, all right, which is nice for promoting gut health as well. Happy and simple living. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Rita, yes, sauerkraut, absolutely. We talked about sauerkraut a little bit when we were talking about fermented foods. Sauerkraut is going to be one of the ones high in natural probiotics. So sauerkraut is a good one. Absolutely, Rita. And yes, raw almonds, absolutely. Because also when we're talking about our lifestyle changes, we want to stay away from high sodium and high sugary foods, because those are going to do the exact opposite of what we want to accomplish today, promoting good gut bacteria. All right, they're actually going to hurt good gut bacteria and good gut health in general. All right, happy and simple living. Let me get back to your question here. Hope you're having a good Sunday. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday, and I'm really enjoying this chat. And you guys are crushing the like button right now. 24, we are 6 away from our goal already. Thank you so much, guys. How about pecans? Well, are pecans bad for digestion? Absolutely not. Can it help promote gut health? Yes. Would I put them on the same level as almonds? Probably not. Just because they don't have as many polyphenol antioxidants, they're a little bit lower in fiber. They are a tremendous fatty acid source, so very high in healthy fats, but they're just missing out on a little bit of the probiotic properties when it comes to good gut bacteria. Again, it can help, but it's just not on the same level. And if we're talking about the best foods to promote gut health, they're just not quite on the same level as almonds. But again, pecans are not going to hurt you. We have to remember, guys, we want to eat as much healthy foods as possible. All right, we want to have a nice range of foods. That's why I'm giving you nuts and seeds here, fruits, vegetables, fermented foods, garlic, all these different things. Remember, you don't have to add all of them. Take one or two, all right, and add those. Start by adding that. Maybe a yogurt might be a nice one. Start your morning off with yogurt, all right? You can easily add that. All right, another easy one is bananas, all right? Very easy to add to our diet, all right? And very popular, one of the most popular fruits. So I think it's getting a nice range, having a nice discussion, all right, with a range of foods is going to be most beneficial for you guys. Tammy, it's such a beautiful day there in Mississippi. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Absolutely. Very nice. Beautiful here today as well. So I'm glad it's a beautiful day there. I hope you guys, like I said, are having an awesome Sunday. So I hope you guys are getting... So far, we've talked about a nice wide range of foods. That's probably the biggest thing that you want to do, all right? That's one way to improve overall gut health, all right? We talked about all these foods, fermented foods, fruits, prebiotics, fiber, all of those types of different foods that are going to be good for gut health. And man, those thumbs up are just climbing like crazy. Thank you, guys. Now let's move on to another one that might be a little bit surprising to some people. All right, so almonds is a nice one, guys. If you're trying to look for, if you are a fan of nuts and seeds, and we need healthy fats in our diet, almonds are a great choice. All right, I would go with almonds as being probably the best nut or seed to add to our diet if we're trying to promote gut health, just because they have tremendous, very good probiotic properties. All right, and good properties that are going to help good healthy bacteria to thrive within the digestive tract. We already said fiber and polyphenols, and even the fatty acids are going to help a little bit. Remember, just keep it in moderation. Maybe I'll give you one more fat. Again, this is going to be one. If I'm talking about any oil, you're always going to want to keep it in moderation because it's always going to be easy to add calories. All right. So another one would be olive oil. Okay. Maybe those are good healthy fats that we can add to the diet. All right, so, almonds, a little bit of olive oil, just again because that's going to be healthy for our gut. It's going to reduce inflammation and it has the polyphenol antioxidants. Where olive oil thrives, we already know that almonds are very high in micronutrients as well. So of course that's important because, you're going to get good nutrient absorption when we have good gut health. All right. The reason why I put almonds ahead of olive oil, all right, is because olive oil is not going to give you that fiber. And that fiber is very important when it comes to feeding good bacteria in the gut. All right. Flax seeds is another good one, Rita. Flax seeds is a nice one. It's interesting. I was reading an interesting study on flax seeds. Just how healthy they are. Again, keep them in moderation. Just like I said with soy, with flax and everything like that, I would keep it in moderation as well. I don't think, we need to be scared of flax or anything like that, but it's something that we might want to keep in moderation. Again, I always say that to you guys. All of these foods we can keep in moderation. All right, so flax seeds a great one, nice healthy fat. All right, does have some good probiotic properties also. So thank you, Rita. Great to point that out. All right, so olive oil, very nice. I think. All right, if you guys can someone let me know that you guys can still hear me? I think my software might have disconnected for a second, but I think we are back. Can someone just give me a quick yes that you can hear me? That way I know I'm not just talking into my microphone and no one can actually hear me. But maybe if someone could just quickly let me know that they can hear me, that would be amazing. Thank you so much, guys. But yes, flax, again, in moderation, I think is a great one. Thank you, Rita. I appreciate that. I'm glad that's working now. I know that it disconnected just for a second there, but I know we're back. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, D-Will. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right, let's continue. This is fun. Broke up for a minute, Tammy? Yeah, that makes sense. I lost the connection for a second, but it automatically just reconnected. I don't know why that disconnected. Loud and clear. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. You guys are letting me know so fast here. The chat is flying. Thank you, D-Will. Hala, thank you. Really appreciate you guys. All right, so again, flax in moderation. Olive oil, yes, good, but you're losing out on the fiber, and the fiber is really the important part when it comes to promoting gut health. Again, it's going to help with digestive health, but remember, we want to be increasing good bacteria as well, and that fiber is going to be acting as fuel, as food for healthy, good bacteria in the gut to thrive. So it's just tremendous. All right, that's why we can't forget about nuts and seeds. But the nice thing about olive oil is it's also great for reducing inflammation. That's where olive oil shines. Its antioxidant profile. All right, it's not going to shine in its micronutrient profile or fiber, that's for sure. I think maybe one of the only micronutrients that we can really, unless trace amounts, really sort of associate olive oil with is just, and it's even very low, is vitamin E. So not a ton of micronutrients in there, but yes, good antioxidants. All right, good antioxidants in olive oil, which is very important because again, that's going to reduce inflammation. All right, and that's important. If we want good bacteria in the gut to thrive throughout the digestive tract, if we're dealing with inflammation, that's not going to be a good environment for good bacteria to thrive. Okay, so let's go to another one here, guys. So again, let's talk about these types of foods. Let's talk about legumes and beans. All right, legumes and beans. Again, I want to give you guys a nice wide range of foods that you can choose from. So legumes and beans are another good gut health promoting food. Sorry, I'm just taking a quick drink of water here. Give me 1 second, guys. Now, why off the top of your head, why would beans and legumes be a good choice? Well, for one, they are packed with both soluble and insoluble fiber. So a tremendous source of high fiber foods. And remember, if we want to increase gut health, then fiber is absolutely important. It's pretty much essential for good gut bacteria. Again, because it's going to act as fuel and food for good gut bacteria. So those good high fiber foods, and again, we don't need to supplement with fiber like we were talking about with probiotics. All right, we can get fiber through our foods, through natural food sources, very, very easily. I think 1 cup of black beans is going to have almost half, at least half of your daily intake of fiber, and it's probably more than that. Right? You add some, vegetables with it. If you add some berries with it, that's all going to add up. All right? All very high in fiber. All right? You add some nice complex carbohydrates like oats, things of that nature. It is going to add up, guys, and it's going to be very easy to get that fiber. But I think one of the best fiber sources is going to be your beans and legumes. Very underrated when it comes to fiber. And I see we just reached, I think that's got to be a record. We hit 30 thumbs up in less than an hour. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you all. And Rita, you're absolutely right there. I see that you put high fiber. Yes, absolutely. So when it comes to some of our best gut health promoting foods, all right, remember, we want to focus on our trifecta here. Remember, I like to keep it simple. So the trifecta would be probiotics, prebiotics, and fiber. All right, legumes, beans, things of that nature, very high in fiber. All right, it can be digested and act as food for bacteria in the gut, which is going to stimulate, the growth of good bacteria. It's going to make an environment where good bacteria can thrive. All right, so beans and legumes, very high in fiber. Okay, so, it doesn't have to be just black beans. Black beans are a great source, but think of other types of beans as well. All right, I know people are fans of all types of beans, so let's create a nice umbrella here. Remember, I don't always like doing that when it comes to things like superfoods, but today I want to give you guys as many foods as possible. So beans and legumes, all right? It can be pinto beans. Pinto beans are just fine. It can be red kidney beans. It could even be chickpeas, all right? So really, any bean source is going to be great for promoting gut health because of the high fiber content, and let's not forget too, super high in micronutrients, all right? So it's going to really help with digestion and promote good gut bacteria. All right, so that's the best way to promote overall gut health. So super high. Now, another one that I would throw in there, often overlooked, they were super popular, I know, a few years ago, but, they're not quite as popular these days. I think it maybe had to do with the popularity of vegan diets and vegetarian diets. But lentils are also another great source, guys, of fiber and a complete protein in and of themselves. All right, so very high in fiber, all right, very good for overall gut bacteria. And we see these in a number of different studies. So I'm not just picking out beans and legumes from anywhere. We see that these high fiber foods, there's a correlation with overall gut health and the promotion of gut health. So we want these high fiber foods, just like there's a correlation with probiotics and prebiotics. All right, I'd say if probiotics and prebiotics are the 1-2 punch, you're adding in a hook with fiber, guys. All right, fiber is just so important when it comes to overall gut health, just like the probiotics, all right, and prebiotics. So beans and legumes, very, very healthy when it comes to increasing overall gut health. All right, again, let's talk about some of the other ones. All right, we can't underestimate. I think I think it was Rita. Maybe I'm wrong. Who had mentioned, it was Happy and Simple Living had mentioned pecans. All right, another nut that you might want to throw in there, just off the top of my head that I remember, I was trying to remember one other one, because olive oil, yes, that's good, but it's not the best because it doesn't have the fiber. It's going to reduce inflammation, but you can do that through polyphenol antioxidants found in these two nuts, almonds and pistachios. All right, pistachios, again, keep in moderation, but it's going to be excellent for promoting gut health. And again, I don't say pistachios too often, so all the pistachio fans out there, all right, here's your chance. If we want to promote gut health, absolutely, pistachios can help. Just make sure we're eating them. All right, eating them in moderation. All right, so pistachios. All right, and again, there's a ton of studies out there that show, they can help to increase good bacteria in the gut. All right, so, I would go with those. I think beans and legumes, you really can't go wrong with any sort of beans. I think if I would pick a top 3, maybe black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans maybe, and then you can still add your chickpeas and lentils and all those things as well. All right, now let's talk about another one here that might be a surprise to some people. All right, this one is another vegetable, guys. All right, and thank you so much. 32 thumbs up. Wow, you guys are just crushing it today. Thank you so much. Yes, garbanzo beans, exactly, Lauren. Thank you for that. Chickpeas, exactly. Garbanzo. Yep, lentils, artichoke. Yeah, artichoke's actually really good. So again, we can add that in with a vegetable. I'm going to get into a specific one here, but artichoke is very nice. Yeah, and fruits and vegetables. And it just depends on what fruits you're having, all right? Some fruits are obviously going to be better than others. Just like I was telling you guys, I specifically separated bananas from some of the other ones just because bananas have that nice prebiotic starch. Prebiotic fiber, I should say. And that prebiotic fiber is known as resistant starch, and that's going to be found in unripe bananas. Susan, I love pistachios. Nice. I eat them almost every day. There you go. So you know that you're helping good gut bacteria with those pistachios, Susan. Again, just keep them in moderation, which I'm sure you're doing, and it's just fine. D-Will, I know. I see you guys are doing just crazy with the thumbs up today. Thank you so much, and thank you for pointing that out, D-Will. All right, so let's get into some more foods here, guys. All right, and here's one that not a lot of people really think of, all right, when it comes to vegetables. All right, but a nice one, all right, artichokes was one. All right, but another one I would add to that list is green peas. All right, so not a lot of people are going to think about green peas when it comes to promoting overall gut health. All right, so green peas, very, very nice to help good bacteria in the gut to flourish, all right, to thrive. And again, why? With not green beans, but peas, all right, super gut friendly. And the reason for that is going to be because of their fiber, all right? So with peas, all right, the nice thing with that vegetable, all right, which we don't get from a lot of other types of vegetables, right, is we want to remember that fiber is very important. But the nice thing about peas is that they are packed with both soluble and insoluble fiber. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. Peas, great source of soluble and insoluble fiber. Again, if we're trying to promote gut health, we don't always have to just add probiotics or prebiotics. All right, fiber is also that third one. Remember, we had our trifecta that's going to really, really promote gut health. All right, we need fiber if we want healthy gut. All right, we need fiber if we want to help good bacteria in the gut to thrive. And peas are a great way to do that. All right, very underrated. And again, one that not a lot of people, green peas in particular, are really going to think of when it comes to benefiting good bacteria in the gut to thrive. They're also going to be able, all right, to help prevent inflammation throughout the intestines. We've seen studies on that. So not only fiber, insoluble and soluble fiber, but we also see that they will help prevent sort of inflammation throughout the intestines. All right, which is important because if we want good health, good gut health, any inflammation throughout the digestive tract is only going to hurt. All right, it will never help, trust me. All right, so if you want good gut health, we need to get rid of that inflammation, whether it's acute or whether it's chronic. It does not matter. But inflammation is not creating a good environment for good bacteria within the gut to thrive, guys. All right, it's only going to hurt good bacteria. It's going to be promoting bad bacteria, right? So let's go to some other ones here. We already know fermented foods, all right? Let's talk a little bit more, okay? Let's talk a little bit about whole grains. I think someone mentioned whole grains a little bit earlier. It might have been D-Will. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But here, again, another option for everyone. All right, we've talked about a tremendous amount of foods that are going to be helping with overall gut health. And again, why are we talking about overall gut health? We already know that if we are promoting overall gut health, and there's been tons of studies, and more are always coming out, that gut health is super important, not only physically, all right, not only physically, but also with digestion, all right, with immune system boosting, all right, so keeping our immune system strong, but also we're even seeing a correlation with cognitive function, cognitive health, mental health, things of that nature, all right. It's been said that the gut is almost like our second brain, right? And again, more and more studies are coming out on this. Speak with your medical practitioner. Of course, mental health and things of that nature are very complex, different from person to person many times. So again, speak with your medical practitioner about that, guys. But we're seeing a correlation with good gut health and things with mood, things of that nature. So keep that in mind as well. And yes, Lauren, absolutely. So we've talked about sauerkraut, yogurt, kefir, absolutely. Those are the ones we started with because those are your fermented foods, but absolutely nailing them with that one. And I think yogurt, I think I had mentioned earlier that yogurt might be your easiest one, all right? And perhaps especially depending on how many active bacterial cultures are actually found in yogurt, all right, might be some of the highest probiotic foods out there, all right? Different types of yogurt, Greek yogurt, and things of that nature. Everything starts with the gut. You're right, Angie. You know, when we eat our food, we do that digestive process. Very, very important. So important to promote overall gut health and make sure that, you know, we have that healthy bacteria in there. All right, so probiotics, prebiotics, fiber, all of that great trifecta to help promote all of that, which we were talking about. 33 thumbs up. I can't believe it. Thank you so much, guys. All right, so let's talk a little bit about whole grains. Now, whole grains have sort of gotten, and you guys, you know, I don't know if you guys had heard before, but whole grains, depending on which type, again, we always need to separate, right? We separated fruits, we separated some vegetables, we even separated fermented foods from others. There's going to be some foods that are going to be better than others when it comes to promoting gut health, and the same is with whole grains. So let's talk about the specific whole grains that are going to be important for promoting gut health, because when it comes to that, not all whole grains are created the same, and we'll understand why in a second. All right, but why are whole grains going to be important? So when I talk about whole grains, all right, we're talking about things like oats, all right, barley, things of that nature. Whole wheat, so who has said that? Lauren. All right, whole wheat bread to it just depends if we have any sensitivities to gluten or anything like that. Obviously, if you have sensitivities to gluten, which again, the studies show that not a lot of people do. Some people think that they might, but you know, in the studies, it's kind of showing fewer and fewer people actually do have a sensitivity or, you know, a gluten intolerance. But obviously, if you do have that, same thing with dairy or anything of that nature. So obviously, if you have dairy intolerance, so lactose intolerant, or, you know, a sensitivity to dairy, obviously yogurt's off the table for you. So keep that in mind, guys. But again, we have to make sure that we specifically or specify which whole grains are going to be the best. All right, now, why are whole grains important when it comes to promoting gut health? And again, I would keep whole grains in moderation. And that's not because we're worried about carbs or anything like that. All right, but again, we just want to make sure that we're spreading out our food. All right, that we're not going crazy on carbohydrates. We want to have a nice, well-balanced diet. All right, and remember, these are complex carbohydrates, so slower digesting. All right, but how are they healthy for the gut? Well, one, they contain non-digestible carbs, again, which we just mentioned. Whole grains obviously are going to be your carbs, but a lot of non-digestible carbs when it comes to whole grains. All right, lots of fiber. All right, within whole grains, and again, fiber is one of the more important things. Go right up there with probiotics and prebiotics. Tons of fiber. All right, but the non-digestible carbs. All right, and we talked a little bit about this, I think, in the digestive track or a digestive health video. Or live stream, I should say. All right, the non-digestible carbs are going to be your compounds like beta-glucan. All right, so beta-glucan, very important. All right, and especially with oatmeal. I think oatmeal might be one of the highest sources of beta-glucan. All right, very, very healthy for overall digestion, and very, very healthy when it comes to overall gut health. So beta-glucan, very nice. That's why we want those whole grains with a lot of fiber and non-digestible carbs. All right, if it's a simple carb, all right, obviously we're not going to be getting either of those. You lose a lot of the fiber and you lose that compound beta-glucan, all right, because you're not going to be getting the same carbs. It's going to be more of a simple carb, okay? So when we talk about non-digestible carbs, right up there with your complex carbs, beta-glucan compounds, all of that stuff. Again, it's not absorbed or broken down within the small intestine. It's the same thing with the prebiotic fiber, which we talked about, like the resistant starch. And that way that they're able to make it through into the large intestine. All right. And so by making it into the large intestine, all right, that's really going to help promote the growth of good bacteria, because that's where it's going to act as food. All right. And it's broken down by good bacteria there. All right. So that's where it's going to act as food, as fuel for good bacteria. All right. And whole grains we see in many studies. All right. A lot of people, might not have thought of whole grains as being a gut promoting health food. All right, but we see in numerous studies, it's not just like one or two handpicked ones, we see that whole grains can help with the promotion and growth of good bacteria within the gut. So that's tremendous. That's exactly what we want. If we want good gut health, then we need that good gut bacteria. All right. Again, just through the digestive process, all right, keeping bad bacteria a nice balance. We don't want that bad bacteria to thrive. We want good bacteria to thrive and increasing nutrient uptake. All right. And then that's where you're going to get the physical, the immune system boosting, the mental health benefits of all of these foods, especially once we get that good bacteria promotion. So those are all really important ones, guys. Ezekiel bread, I think, is a good one. And for Ezekiel bread, I think why Ezekiel bread, Rita, is good. I don't know if it's quite up there with some of the other ones, but it can definitely be good. Is because it's such a high source of fiber. All right, very filling. All right, good source of fiber. All right, again, both soluble and insoluble. So that can help with the promotion of gut health. I think it's important, guys, when we talk about some of these whole grains, we need to separate, high fiber carbohydrates, which have the soluble and insoluble fiber, from simple carbohydrates. Because if we're eating a high diet of simple carbohydrates, all right, obviously that's not going to be helpful for gut health, because that's going to be where sugars are coming from. All right, we're going to be adding more sugar to our diet. All right, a lot of the foods, when it's breaking down a simple carbohydrate, will be turned into sugar. All right, remember, even some types of fruit can be adding sugar to your diet as fructose and glucose, so fruit sugar and natural sugar, but a lot of times combined, when you have both of those, it's going to be broken down into sucralose. Right? So it's important, we need to make sure that when we talk about these these complex carbohydrates, right, these whole grains, we want high fiber, we want micronutrient dense, and we want compounds like beta-glucan, the non-digestible carbohydrates. And you're only really going to find that in complex carbohydrates, not simple carbs. All right. So keep that in mind. All right. Also, like I said, higher in nutrient density, and that's going to be super important, because what those, like the fiber, what the non-digestible carbs, what the beta-glucan compounds are going to do is increase nutrient absorption. All right, increased nutrient absorption. So the more nutrient dense foods that we're eating, obviously the more nutrients we are getting from the foods that we're eating. All right, thank you so much, guys. I'm looking at all of the foods that you threw out there. Rita, Ezekiel bread, sauerkraut, sourdough. That's an interesting one, Lauren. Yeah, sourdough actually can have some benefits for. So if anyone was wondering. Yogurt, kefir, sourdough is actually not a bad one. With sourdough, it's sort of one of the ones that that's sort of emerged as of late. So it's interesting you bring that up, Lauren. Do you eat sourdough? Because the reason why sourdough, you can kind of separate from that, what a lot of people don't know is it's actually a fermented food. I think maybe, Lauren, that's why you added it to sauerkraut, yogurt, and kefir. But sourdough is actually made by fermenting dough. So obviously that's going to be a good one. It's going to have nice probiotics in it. It's more easily digested than regular, say, whole wheat bread or anything like that. So sourdough is actually a nice one. See, this is why I like when you guys kind of give some of the foods or throw some foods out there as well, because, sourdough is one that not a lot of people might have thought of. It's one that I didn't have right off the top of my head, Lauren. But yeah, with sourdough bread, it's made by fermenting dough. So again, when we eat sourdough, of course, you're going to be increasing the probiotics, right? Good probiotics in sourdough. Again, keep it in moderation. We don't need to go overboard with sourdough or anything like that. And again, that's been a theme throughout this whole discussion. Keep it in moderation, and you are 100% good to go. I even think with sourdough, not too bad in fiber, okay? A little bit of fiber in there as well, but its real gut health promoting abilities come from its fermentation process, all right? Come from the fermentation process, so that's a great way to add probiotics to your diet. So Lauren, thank you for pointing that out. That's just great. Now let's talk a little bit more about just really quickly, we talked a little bit about some of the lifestyle stuff, guys. All right, one of the big ones I just want to point out, especially when it comes to gut health. All right, we'll get into some more foods here in like 2 minutes, but I just needed to point out, if we're dealing with a lot of stress, that can really, remember, we already talked about how the gut is now being seen as the second brain. If we're dealing with a lot of stress on a day-to-day basis, all right, and especially if you aren't getting proper sleep, all right, it's only going to exacerbate stress, all right, and we know with certain foods, it's only going to exacerbate stress. But if we're living within a high stress sort of lifestyle, that's really going to sort of have an effect on our gut health, which we're really not looking for. And we've seen this through various studies. And that a lot of people think of stress, like work stress or things like that, but tie it into some other things, guys. All right. So, obviously psychological stress, things like that. All right. But think about sleep. All right. If you aren't getting enough sleep during the night, all right, each day, things of that nature, we see that, psychological stressors are going to actually have a negative effect on good bacteria and microorganisms in the intestines. And the main thing, all right, which is even more important to keep in mind, if we're stressed, all right, even if we're stressed for like a day, even if the stress is short term, that's going to have a negative effect on good bacteria in the gut. So stress and stressors, or it could be like environmental stressors as well, are going to do the opposite of what we want. It's not going to promote overall gut health. It's actually going to hurt overall gut health. Why? Because it's going to reduce good bacteria within the gut. All right, Susan, that's an interesting question. I'm wondering if anyone else eats granola. I've had a lot of clients who ate granola for breakfast and things like that. It just sort of depends on the granola which you eat. All right, a lot of people will eat granola because it's gotten sort of a lot of good media, and it's healthy granola with yogurt and things like that. As long as it's granola I would just have plain granola, is I guess what I'm trying to say. A lot of people will add or have granola that has like a bunch of honey or artificial sweeteners added to it. All right, we'll have granola that have sort of sugary things added to it, like raisins, like dried raspberries, things of that nature. Just make sure if you are having granola, keep it in moderation. It's not the best fiber food, but it does have a little bit of fiber. All right, so it can be quite filling, and I think that's where, that's why it became so popular. But I would keep it in moderation. I usually try to get a lot of my clients who are eating granola, because the granola they're eating is like covered in non-raw organic honey, so inorganic honey. All right, so very high in sugar. We have to remember, even organic honey, like raw honey, is sugar substitute. So you're going to be getting sugar within that honey. I've gotten a lot of clients to sort of limit granola maybe to 1 or 2 days a week, and to try to get oatmeal in the morning, because it seems that that's been pretty a pretty good transition. Going from granola to oatmeal hasn't been too bad for a lot of clients. So oatmeal is not bad. It's not great with fiber, but I think if you can add some of the whole grains like oatmeal, I would recommend that a little bit more than necessarily granola. So great question. Just make sure if you are eating granola that it's plain granola, nothing added to it. And I would try to add it to yogurt, because even better. That's for gut health. That's a nice 1-2 punch right there. Magnesium is good for the gut and sleep. Magnesium's really important when it comes to a lot of bodily processes. I think hundreds, if not thousands, of bodily processes involve, magnesium. I know a lot of people will have it before sleep as a way to relax. Magnesium citrate, I believe. And we see some studies. I haven't seen too many studies or read too many studies. Not that it's not, it can't be helpful. I don't know too much about a huge correlation between magnesium and gut health. But I do know there is a correlation with magnesium and sleep and promoting feelings of relaxation, especially before bed, which is important. So it can be a nice de-stressor when you're sort of kind of using a magnesium supplement, whether that be through magnesium citrate, you add it to hot, warm water. I think that's a very popular way to have it before bed. Or if you're taking a magnesium supplement, or if you're just eating magnesium high foods, dark leafy green vegetables, beans and legumes, some of the ones we mentioned today, all very high in magnesium. So great point, Susan. Thank you for pointing that out. So very nice. And 33 thumbs up. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we're sprinting past the goal now. We're past 30. We're sprinting to 40 now, it looks like. So thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. All right, so don't underestimate, try not to estimate whole grains. Just let's make sure that we're eating the right whole grains, all right? Oatmeal, things of that nature. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about prebiotic foods, all right? Because we had mentioned how prebiotics are a nice 1-2 punch to go along with probiotics. The prebiotic foods that we talked about were really only bananas and asparagus. And remember, that was more for their prebiotic fiber. Remember, in unripe bananas, if you guys missed a little bit earlier, unripe bananas are high in a prebiotic fiber known as resistant starch. And asparagus is actually a nice prebiotic fiber. And then also with the prebiotic fiber, you can add in garlic and onions. And I think those 4 are more than enough when you're talking about prebiotic fiber. All right, and especially with asparagus, a nice little recipe actually has asparagus, right, and garlic and onions. All right, it's a nice mixture. So if you enjoy that, you can even put a tiny little bit of olive oil in there, and then you're getting nice gut health promoting foods. That's a nice veggie with good gut promoting foods mixed in with it as well. All right, Tammy, have a great week. Thank you so much for coming in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I hopefully we'll talk to you next on Wednesday. Thank you so much for coming in as always. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate everyone else in here as well. Thank you so much, guys. So let's talk a little bit about why prebiotics, because we really talked about probiotics and fiber a lot, I feel like. But why are prebiotic foods so important? Okay, well, we already know that with prebiotics, and usually, again, guys, we talked about probiotic supplements. Haven't heard too much about prebiotic supplements out there. All right, but prebiotic foods are going to promote the growth of good bacteria in the gut as well, just like probiotics are. All right, that's why I'm saying it's a nice 1-2 punch, and then also with fiber. All right, just tremendous. Now, the nice thing with prebiotics is that if you're eating high fiber foods, you're going to easily add or increase prebiotics into your diet, okay? Because prebiotics are mainly found in fiber and complex carbohydrates. So that's why beans and legumes were so important, right? Nice fiber sources. That's why we were able to add almonds and pistachios. That's why we were able to add unripe bananas, because we know that with fiber, we're going to be, and complex carbohydrates, we're going to be adding prebiotics to it as well. All right. And we know that these prebiotics, and especially with fiber and complex carbohydrates, they're gonna make it into that large intestine. They escape, all right, or at least aren't breaking down throughout the small intestine. Okay, so resistant starch is a great prebiotic. We already talked about that. All right, now the reason why prebiotics are so important as well is that we've seen that many studies have shown that prebiotics, all right, we already know can promote the growth of healthy bacteria, all right, but we also know that prebiotics can help reduce obesity. And remember, we already talked about in our lifestyle discussion how if we're dealing with obesity, and again, I always know that this can be a little bit of a tougher topic to discuss and one that, can be a little bit tougher to discuss, but we have to discuss it because if we're dealing with obesity, again, usually the foods that we're eating aren't going to be the healthiest for gut health, but we know obesity in and of itself is going to be a negative sort of factor when it comes to gut health and overall gut health. So we need to make sure that we're addressing that. All right, prebiotics. If you're say dealing with obesity or you're trying to lose weight or things like that, if you're dealing with a reduction of insulin for instance, all right. And a lot of people who are obese are dealing with that. Prebiotics can help with that, and that's only going to help with promoting gut health, all right? So prebiotics in their own way, all right, in a lot of ways that probiotics don't, are going to be increasing overall gut health, okay? Again, the prebiotic foods which we talked about, there's tons of them, all right? Bananas, all right? Again, garlic, onions, even ginger to a certain extent, all right, are going to be very, very healthy for us. I'd say maybe some other one, and someone already mentioned it in chat, but artichokes are going to be great in prebiotic fiber, all right, and prebiotics. We already talked about whole grains. They're going to be a good source of prebiotics. Why? Because when we talked about whole grains, we already talked about how they are very high in fiber, and they're a complex carbohydrate, and that's where you're going to get things like resistant starch, beta glucan, those prebiotic fibers, all right, that are going to act as fuel and food for good, healthy bacteria in the gut to thrive. So those are all great ones. So prebiotics, tremendously important when it comes to overall gut health. All right, so let's not underestimate prebiotics because we already know probiotics, and you hear all the time just how important probiotics are for the gut, but we need to address that prebiotics are also important. Now, just like we're addressing prebiotics are important, we already talked about fiber, but again, we need to watch our overall diet because, again, going back to obesity just a little bit, if you're eating foods that are high in sodium, if you're eating foods that are high in sugar, then obviously you're going to be promoting an environment within the gut that's going to be promoting bad bacteria and reducing good bacteria. All right. So again, if we're eating highly processed foods, if we're eating a lot of sugar or drinking a lot of sugar, all right, again, that's not going to be helpful for promoting overall gut health. It's going to be doing the exact opposite. So we need to make sure those lifestyle changes are being made as well. Again, if we don't make the lifestyle changes and we don't have a well-balanced diet that we can maintain, because remember, that's the most important part. People will always ask me, what's the best diet for you? The best diet is going to be the one that you enjoy and the one that you can maintain for the rest of your life. That doesn't matter if it's keto to vegetarian, all right, to vegan. All right, the best diet for you is going to be the one that you can maintain for the rest of your life. All right, and the ones that, if we're wanting to promote gut health, the one that you can add some of these foods in and enjoy it and maintain those foods in your diet for the rest of your life. Okay, now let's just go back here again to our lifestyle. I got one more for you. All right, and then we'll go back to foods just for a second. I got a couple other foods here that maybe people didn't think of. All right. So when it comes to lifestyle, we already talked about sleep. We talked a little bit about obesity. We talked about not eating highly processed foods, being sedentary. Okay, let's go back to being sedentary. A lot of people will always ask, does exercise promote gut health? That was sort of a big thing over the last year, especially with the pandemic and all of that, people having a lack of exercise. One question, because I'll even get some magazines, and I've seen on the cover of these magazines, does exercise promote gut health? All right, that's the question. All right, so obviously this is sort of something out there right now that's being addressed and being studied. All right, now, will exercise, and we're talking about regular exercise, and again, I don't always like to use the word exercise. I think movement is just fine. So how much movement do we need a week? Well, we're shooting for that 150 minutes of movement. And again, that can be a nice walk. You can go out for a hike. It doesn't have to be super intense. As long as you're getting regular movement, all right, so that 150 minutes a week, all right, then we're going to be doing a good job because, again, help control obesity, all right. But the thing that is starting to emerge in different research, all right, and we've seen it, all right, I think it was an article in the National Institute of Health that I read, that we also see that regular exercise, so regular exercise is 150 minutes a week, because you can split that up into multiple 30-minute walks, all right, and then you can get regular exercise throughout that week or regular movement. We also see research, all right, starting to show that it can improve gut health. All right, it can improve good bacteria and allow good bacteria to thrive. And it only makes sense. All right, why? Because when we get regular movement, regular exercise, it's going to help get rid of toxins, flush out toxins from the body. It actually promotes digestion, believe it or not. All right, and increase nutrient digestion. All right, improve regularity. All right, and what it can also do is increase nutrient uptake. All right, it's almost like exercise is medicine for the body. A lot of people don't see it as that way. All right, another thing, and I think this is important to note, is the correlation between exercise and mental health. Remember, we talked a little bit about stress, how stress can negatively affect but good bacteria, gut health. All right, and we see that in studies. All right, again, it can be environmental stress, day-to-day stress, all right, a lack of sleep, a bunch of different stressors, multiple stressors. All right, we also know that exercise can help to reduce stress and can improve sleep and sleep quality. All right, those who tend to work out tend to have better sleep at night. So I think getting a little bit of movement, I think getting a little bit of exercise is actually going to be important for gut health. And that's starting to emerge. Like I said, I think I read one, I think it was in the National Institute of Health. All right. So we're starting to see that it can improve gut health. All right. And another study actually saw that, now this was athletes, but I just wanted to sort of bring it up because people who were sort of exercising and getting movement, all right, they found that people who were athletes had better gut flora than non-athletes. So basically that's saying people who are exercising are having better gut flora, getting better gut health, having better gut health than people who aren't working out or are non-athletes, okay? But let's go back to, we're not all athletes here, all right? We're not all athletes. That's great, Susan. I'll switch it up. I'll go back to the chat here. Magnesium citrate. Mufasa. Yes. We actually just talked about magnesium citrate, especially for sleep. Magnesium glycinate. But yes, Susan, that's a great thing. Exactly. Walking your dog 30 minutes a day. That's all we need. That's regular movement and regular exercise, 30 minutes a day. I think that's great, and it can only help. Now, Mufasa, I hope you're saying everyone visit here into the live stream. But yes, thank you for coming in, Mufasa. Now, I know we're not all athletes here, so let's go to another study, all right? Another study that was found are people who get at least regular exercise, regular movement, 150 minutes. Again, that could be broken up to, just like Susan said, 30-minute walks. All right. Along with a little bit of resistance training, I think was included in this study. All right. And again, not a lot. I think it was 2 or less days. It was like 1 or 2 days. All right. People who are engaging in at least 150 minutes of exercise. So again, that's why we want to shoot for 150 minutes. We know that that's a part of the guidelines. All right. At least in the United States and in Canada. All right. Those who are doing that, all right, getting that 150 minutes of exercise or movement each week, are seeing better gut health and having a healthier gut, seeing the improvement in overall gut flora and overall good bacteria in the gut to thrive. So again, when we're talking about the promotion of gut health, yes, foods are very important. But if we're adding in these little things as well, it's only going to allow these foods to go to the next step. If we're eating sugar, if we're eating salt, so sodium-rich foods, if we're living a sedentary lifestyle, yes, we can add in these foods, but they might not be living up to their potential. All right, if we're dealing with all these other things, if we are obese, all right, if we're sedentary, all right, again, if we're eating sugar, if we're eating a high sodium diet, all right, if we're obese and dealing with symptoms of obesity, again, you can add in these foods, all right, but you might not be getting that gut health promotion that we're looking for, or at least not as much as we could. And I think that's important to note, guys, because we want to add in these foods and we want them to promote good gut health. We want them to increase good gut bacteria. We want them to create an environment for good bacteria to thrive. And we want an environment where bad bacteria is reduced. Why? Because that's going to give us the physical benefits, the potential immune system benefits, and the potential mental health benefits. And again, mental health, that can be complex, so speak with your medical practitioner, all right, especially from person to person, all right? So make sure that we're dealing with that as well. Okay, so make sure we're getting some of that movement. All right. Oh, that's awesome, from Canada. That's good. I'm glad to hear. I always love where people are from. So if there's anyone else in here who hasn't said yet, all right, drop it in the chat where you're from. Where you're listening from. I always love hearing it. You guys did a great job. You guys did a very good job at the beginning, last live stream, in the comments of the last live stream. I always love hearing where you are from. So thank you so much for pointing that out, guys. Okay, let's go one more food here. All right. One more food, which I think is, and this one won't be the last, but another one here. Thanks, Mufasa. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much. But one more, I think that, I don't know if I've seen it in the chat yet, but let's think of a dark leafy green vegetable, because I did see kale, I did see spinach. Washington, D.C. Well, welcome, Washington. That's awesome. A lot of people from the States, but all over the world. It's fascinating. Like I mentioned, South Africa, Nigeria, friends all around the world. In Dubai, friends in Dubai here. In the UK, we saw people. A lot of people from the United States, as I already mentioned. Obviously, a lot of people from Canada. So that's so awesome. I love hearing that. It's really great I really just enjoy seeing it. From England. And my pleasure, Linda. Thank you for letting me know. And again, my pleasure for the live stream. Okay, and that's a good guess, Mufasa. So kale, spinach, I wouldn't say that they're bad for gut health, but there's one specific one, all right, that's really going to promote gut health. So kale, spinach, all of those good things are going to be good for the gut, absolutely. But if we're talking about the best, one of the best ones is going to be Brussels sprouts, guys. Brussels sprouts are one of your best. And put them right up there. From Italy, but live in Arizona. Oh, very nice. Must be beautiful and beautiful weather in Arizona. Oh, from NYC, Jazzy. Very cool. I've actually been to NYC. That's all good. Broccoli definitely is, Rita. Absolutely. So broccoli, nice dark leafy green vegetable. All right. So if we're talking about leafy green vegetables, absolutely. Broccoli is a good one. Swiss chard's a nice one. But I think the one at Toronto, Canada, very nice, D-Will. I think if we're talking about the top of the top, one of the best ones is going to be Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts is very, very gut healthy, guys. Broccoli, very good. Swiss chard, very good. Kale, spinach, all of that stuff that you guys are mentioning. But if we're talking about the best of the best, Brussels sprouts are right up there, guys. And thank you so much for 37 likes up, or thumbs up, sorry. 37 likes. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. So Brussels sprouts are another good one, guys. And again, I'm putting in Brussels sprouts because I sing the praises of broccoli all the time, of kale, of spinach, Swiss chard even from time to time. All right, but never really Brussels sprouts. But we see that Brussels sprouts, and in the literature and the research, right, that Brussels sprouts are very, very gut health friendly, all right, and very, very friendly when it comes to promoting good bacteria in the gut, all right, which is very, of course, important. Roasted broccoli, Brussels sprouts, nice, Yvonne. Yep, you got it. Brussels sprouts, nailed it. All right, good for you. So Brussels sprouts. Now, why Brussels sprouts? Again, they're gonna have the good gut health promoting properties here, guys. The most important one probably being fiber. All right, Brussels sprouts are very underrated when it comes to fiber. All right, and when it comes to fiber, again, that's one of the best things for good bacteria and for a healthy gut. Now, the other thing with Brussels sprouts, and this is why you can throw broccoli in, but I'd like to kind of throw Brussels sprouts in here now, is because they have sulfur compounds. And that's why I said broccoli for sure. As soon as I saw you mention that, Rita, is because sulfur compounds, and we haven't really mentioned this yet, so I think it's important that we do mention it, right, when we're especially talking about Brussels sprouts, and you could throw broccoli in there. But when we're talking about Brussels sprouts, they have healthy sulfur compounds. And those sulfur compounds are very good for healthy bacteria. All right, they're going to act as fuel. They're going to act as food, all right, for sulfur compounds. And the best thing about those sulfur compounds, not only are they well liked by good bacteria, but they actually help to combat unhealthy bacteria, all right? They actually attack unhealthy bacteria and bad bacteria in the gut and allow good bacteria in the gut to thrive. So how amazing is that? Not only in Brussels sprouts, these sulfur compounds, so we already know fiber. We know both soluble and insoluble fiber, very healthy for overall gut health. But now we're adding in those sulfur compounds, all right? And those sulfur compounds are actually not only going to help good bacteria to thrive, but they are actually going to attack, all right, bad bacteria and stop bad bacteria from thriving, all right, or stop bad bacteria, all right, even help eliminate them from the gut. And man, 39, we're one away from 40. Jesus. I say 37, I look over and we're already at 39. We are one away from 40 thumbs up, guys. Like I told you, we got to 30 and then we just started sprinting away from 30 and on the way to 40. So thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and Brussels sprouts, purple or green. You know why I like even purplish vegetables, guys? Because they contain polyphenol antioxidants. And we already know that polyphenols are important for reducing inflammation. And for reducing inflammation throughout the digestive tract, of course, we're going to see an increase in gut health. We want to get rid of both acute and chronic inflammation throughout the digestive tract. Again, that's going to help promote overall gut health. But what those purple, all right, and bluish, all right, type colors, think eggplant, think blueberries for sure, all right, things of that nature, beets, absolutely, all right, they're going to have anthocyanin and antioxidants, all right, that's what gives them that color. All right, the anthocyanin antioxidants, all right, are going to give these foods their purplish blue color. And then that's going to help reduce inflammation throughout the digestive tract as well. Again, both in the acute term and in the long term, chronically. All right. And if we're doing that, we're doing a great job of reducing inflammation throughout the digestive tract, which in and of itself is going to help good bacteria to thrive as well. So, excellent point. Purple, anything that's purple, bluish, all right, those are good foods to have as well. especially if they're high in fiber. Like eggplant, great. All right. Beets, tremendous for gut health because they have that nice fiber. Beets will have nitrates, tons of great things in there. Really, really healthy for our gut. Great for digestion. Great for regularity. All right. Remember, one of the symptoms of an unhealthy gut are going to be, am I buffering, D. Will? Hopefully that'll sort itself out. I think it should be okay now. If it's still buffering, let me know. But I hopefully it looks like everything's okay now. But I do see that a couple frames were dropped. But thank you for letting me know, D. Will. But what was I talking about here? So purple vegetables, all right, are going to be giving you that anti-inflammatory property that's very healthy for gut health, all right, both the acute and chronic factors. So again, beets, all right, beets are one of my favorites, all right, just a tremendous food when it comes to promoting gut health, all right. So I think that's great. You see 40, D. Will? That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know if it's buffering for anyone else. It looks like it's all good on my end. Hopefully it's not on your end, D. Will. But it looks all good all over here. So hopefully it's not maybe your connection. It might be mine, but if anyone else is dealing with that, let me know. But again, another one that you guys, let's just go over some rapid fire ones here, okay? Because again, the best way to promote gut health is to eat a nice range of healthy foods. If we can have a nice range of healthy foods, then it's easier to add these foods into your diet. You don't have to stress about adding just yogurt or just kefir or anything along those lines. You can add multiple foods. This might be one of those lives where you guys might want to go back just because we listed so many. You might want to go back and listen because we listed so many foods in this chat. It's all good for you, Rita? Thank you for letting me know. So D. Will, hopefully everything is good there on your end. But let's go over some just kind of quick fire ones. Another one that can be helpful is lemon water. All right, now the reason why lemon water, and again, for gut health, all right, I would have this in moderation, but this we're seeing in the literature that lemon water has the potential for not only detoxification, but again, let's think about the trifecta. All right, let's think about the three important parts of gut health promotion, which we brought up today. Probiotics, prebiotics, and fiber. If you're drinking lemon water, you're going to want to make sure that you're actually squeezing the lemon, all right, into the water. Why? Because you want some of the pulp, because you're getting the fiber from it, and you're getting pectin, all right? So soluble and insoluble fiber. Now, it doesn't quite have the resistant starch, so you're not getting quite that prebiotic benefit, but you are getting the fiber benefit. And remember, that fiber benefit is just as important. And I see 40 thumbs up there. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. Geez, 40 thumbs up already. You guys are just showing tons of support. I really appreciate it. I'm back. I had to leave. Okay. Yeah, just had to kind of refresh, D. Will. Perfect. Good to have you back. But adding a little bit of lemon water, again, just in moderation. You don't have to squeeze a whole bunch or add a whole lemon to the water, all right? A quarter or half is more than enough, but make sure you squeeze the lemon into it because you want some of that pulp, all right? Not having just lemon juice, you're not going to get the benefits from that pulp or from the fiber, all right? And that's what we really want. So I think that's really important, okay? So lemon water can be good. Another good one in terms of fruit, so another easy one to add to our diet. Bananas, very easy. We're seeing that apples can actually help to promote gut health, all right, and good gut bacteria. Every day I do that. Oh, that's awesome, Mufasa. Apple cider vinegar, yep, just a little bit of apple cider vinegar can have some good digestive health promotion, Rita. Absolutely. It's funny, I talked about apple cider vinegar, I think almost in every live. It's so funny. In the weight loss ones, I think if people listen to the weight loss ones, people would think I'm not a fan of apple cider vinegar or it doesn't have any health benefits. But again, we speak about it just in terms of its benefits for weight loss. all right, because a lot of the claims that are made are just overstated, all right? But apple cider vinegar definitely does have its health-promoting abilities. That's 100% for sure. All right, digestion, skin, all right, both connected, all right? And that's so funny, Mufasa, right? So as soon as I say skin, you're saying skin as well. Yep, good skin health benefits, all right? So apples as well. And I think with apples, all right, the good gut health promoting benefits are coming from its fiber, all right? So keep that in mind. That's why I said berries at the beginning. Like if you were eating yogurt, or even oatmeal, a nice thing to add, you can add apples, you can add berries, raspberries, blueberries, things of that nature, because they have good fiber. All right, and anthocyanins in blueberries. Strawberries also have anthocyanins. I'll just point that out real quick because we already mentioned it's like bluish, purplish in color, but strawberries are sort of the unique one where they actually have those anthocyanins and they're red. So just keep that in mind. All right. So I think we'll end it here, guys. We're like 2 hours in. Hard to believe these live streams just go by so fast for me. I just have a lot of fun doing them. I enjoy talking with you guys and interacting with you guys. There was an oregano video that was put up today. Oregano can even help with promoting gut health just because of its fiber. So if you guys want to watch or give a watch to the oregano video, that might be interesting if you're interested in promoting gut health. But not a lot of people would think of that as well. All right, Mufasa, I saw that you mentioned herbs a little bit earlier, so that might be an interesting video for you to watch because, that's one of my favorite herbs, and there's tons of health benefits associated with oregano. Again, you're not going to eat it in large amounts. We wouldn't want to do that, and it would be very hard to do that. I mentioned that multiple times in the video. So small amounts of oregano, right? And again, usually added to recipes. That's the easiest way to get it. So oregano might be an interesting one for you guys. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys getting me to getting the chat to 40 thumbs up. That is absolutely amazing. Remember, we always shoot for 30. Today we crushed it. We hit 40. It's so funny because, as I said, we're in here for 2 hours, usually 2 hours every Wednesday, every Sunday. We've been doing this for almost, it's been 3 months plus. Almost, we're getting to 4 months here. Thank you, D. Well, yes, exactly. But we've been keeping it consistent, and it's going to stay consistent. The daily videos will be consistent. I do not have a website, Mufasa, but down the road, there's a good possibility that I actually might, but have a website. But I appreciate you asking. And 42 thumbs up. Geez, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. But I've really enjoyed these live streams. I have to say, I know I say it a lot, but the live streams, just so fun, right? Just so fun for me being able to discuss live with you guys and interact. Again, it's a one-man team here. I do all of the videos. I do these. Thank you, Mufasa. You post on Facebook. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. And I really appreciate that, getting the videos out and sharing with other people. Maybe they can find something beneficial from it. And that's the whole goal, that they find something beneficial, learn something new, maybe something that they didn't think about before, and then they learn something. All right, so we'll end it here, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Again, all the thumbs up, everyone coming in on the Sunday. And like I said, the nice thing is, and the nice things that you guys can remember is, it's the daily videos are going to continue, and so are these live streams. We'll be here every Wednesday. We'll be here every Sunday. All right, we've been doing it for like I said, almost the last, probably close to 4 months now, and nothing seems to change. I've been enjoying them, and I think we've had some really, really good discussions in those chats. So we're not going anywhere. These Wednesday and Sunday chats will continue, and then we'll just keep going from there. But thank you so much for all of the support. Oh, thank you, Linda. I'm glad that you were able to learn a lot from the live stream today. My pleasure. My pleasure to everyone. Thank you so much. The nice thing is, you guys are able to learn something. I'm learning stuff from you. All right, which is the nice thing. I think that's the beautiful thing about doing these live streams is that, it's a nice back and forth, and that's why I enjoy them so much. Hey, good morning. Chinyir. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. Chinyir. Good evening to you as well. Grazie, Rita. Grazie, great info. Oh, I'm very glad that you enjoy them, Rita. Enjoy your day. Yes, you as well, D. Will. First time here. Oh, that's nice, Linda. Well, great having you here, and everyone else. It's nice because there's always new people. There's always familiar faces. That's the nice thing about these live chats. So awesome having you here, Linda. Awesome having everyone in here. Whether it's your first time or like D. Will, your 20th time being in here. I appreciate all of you. D. Will, it's always great to see you in here as well. But like I said, you guys can count on the weekly, bi-weekly, so Wednesday and Sunday live streams. Again, I'm having a ton of fun with them. I like being able to interact with you guys live, one-on-one, actually chat about the food, all right? About the health benefits of certain foods and not just make videos on them. I enjoy the videos. Obviously, I've been doing the channel now for many years. I think we're at over 4,500 videos on the channel. But it's always nice to come on here and be able to chat with you live. There's just something different about that. So tons of videos. I don't think you guys have to worry about me going anywhere anytime soon. The daily videos will continue and the live streams will continue. I just hope you guys keep learning something new and keep enjoying them. So as long as you guys are learning something new and enjoying them, then I'm more than happy. It's usually around 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mufasa. That might change, but what I do every single Wednesday and Sunday morning is make a reminder. So you should get an alert. If you don't, you can always check the channel on the mornings of Wednesday and Sunday, and you'll see a reminder that I'll have set, and it'll tell you the time that I'm going to go live. And I'll usually give you a few hours advance. That way, you're able to have tons of time to find it and to know exactly when I go live. But Sundays are usually going to be around 12, maybe a little bit earlier, starting soon. And same with Wednesdays. But again, those times can change, so just keep a lookout for those reminders, guys. So thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate you all. Everyone have a safe and happy Sunday and healthy Sunday. And I hope you guys were able to learn something new about the promotion of gut health and just how important it is. So 43 thumbs up. I think that's a new record. I don't think I remember that. Maybe one other time, but 43, geez. We really crushed it on the likes today, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I will speak with you guys live next time on Wednesday, all right, afternoon, all right, around 12. And then we'll think of another interesting topic by then. I'm looking forward to it. And then again, the daily videos. The daily videos are going to keep coming. I have an interesting one for tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. Already have it planned. All right, already started in the research process. So we're good to go for that. That will be coming out tomorrow. So thank you so much, guys. Like I said, I appreciate you all. Everyone enjoy your Sunday. And I will speak with you live next on Wednesday.